Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
I'm Hannah Elliott.
And I'm Matt Miller. This is Hot Pursuit. Coming up on today. No, wait, what?
On today. We understand you, Matt. Just lean into it.
We will take a look back at the highs and lows of the year.
What brands busted through and who missed the mark?
We got to drive so many cars in 2025. We'll talk about the ones we loved and the ones that fell short. Will we talk about the ones that fell short? Are we going to?
Honestly, the worst thing I like doing with cars that fall short is I just don't talk about them at all. I banish them to non-existence.
Right.
Because I don't want to think negative thoughts, which probably isn't great because I'm a car critic. But
I also think, and this is a point that I make a lot, even the ones that fall short are usually fantastic because we drive pretty expensive cars. Like they're mostly more than $50,000 a piece, so more than the average cost, and they're brand new, and hopefully they've been spec'd and prepared perfectly. So even the ones that kind of suck don't suck.
Well, look, it's not like it's a Saturn or a Pontiac or something, from the 80s or 90s. Like, no, of course, everything new now is a million miles in advance of what we were driving decades ago. They're safer. They're slightly more efficient. They fit and finish is better. Yes, this is all relative, and we are very spoiled. We're aware of that.
Yeah.
But we can still nitpick.
For sure. And we
Love
will.
To hate.
I will. I just haven't really thought about what has fallen short. And there are some experiences that I've had. For example, I was driving, what was it? I think it was either a GMC Yukon or a Chevy Tahoe, one of those big GM trucks that I love so much, but it was on like 24s. And so if you look at it wrong, you get a flat tire. And then I had to change the tire myself, which normally I pride myself on doing that quickly and well. And it took me like an hour and a half with my 5-year-old daughter. So,
did you talk about that on this podcast, Matt? I'm
pretty sure. But I've had
I've
had a number of occasions this year.
Battery story.
Well,
where you ran out of charge.
Yes. Well, a number of occasions this year where these giant wheels, so 22s or 24s. And, we're in America, so obviously the infrastructure is horrendous, right?
Yes.
It's not like we're in Spain where the roads are beautiful.
Or China, where things are perfect.
So when you get that kind of wheel and like low pro tires, they all pop. So I've had a number of occasions where I've burst tires on New York commutes.
Let me ask you this: when that happens, do you tell the press guys, the fleet managers?
For sure.
But you did actually try to make a valiant effort to change it yourself. You didn't just call them and say, "Help, come get me." First
person I call is my boy
Pierre.
Eric. No, I do not call Pierre.
Why not?
Because Pierre gets super pissed off. So, Pierre will be
French.
like, do you know that wheel costs like more than your paycheck? Whereas Eric is like, bring it to the dealer. We'll deal with it. So
Pierre will slap you with his scarf.
He's a pretty serious dude.
I love it. He gets so wound up. It's the best.
I call those guys straight away. And, but yeah, I have a real problem with wheels in general. Beyond just the size of wheels and the profile of tires, I'm always curbing wheels. Let
me ask you this. Yeah. Are wheels your new sound system? Because, I feel like for a while you went through this phase where you kind of hated every sound system. But now it sounds like maybe you hate every wheel.
Well, no, I think what's happened is, for one thing, the wheels are getting more and more difficult to deal with because they're so big and they're not at all recessed. And even on off-roady vehicles or on trucks, it's a cinch to curb them and then feel horrible about yourself for the rest of the day.
I know. I know.
I don't want that. Give me Steelies.
That's why with this recent Audi RS6 wagon that we had, I literally was parking that 2 feet away from the curb, and I didn't even care.
Me too.
I mean, I was terrified with those because they stick out so far.
In fact, I would say so the Audi RS6 is obviously one of the greatest vehicles I've driven this year. Definitely a high. The wheels, as beautiful as they are, as expensive as they look, I would instantly change them out if I owned that car.
Because you'd be too stressed about them.
Yeah, because I need to take a taxi from my parking spot to the sidewalk. I'm so afraid of scratching them, but since it was an Audi, I didn't. I only scratch wheels on Aston Martins and Mercedes, which are also hella expensive and make me feel super guilty. Yeah, no, I would. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're my new stereo, but I'm paying much more attention to them. And car stereos just never seem to impress too much. I'm waiting for this Dolby Atmos revolution. You know
what? I think this might take us into our next segment.
Yeah.
But I am loving the sound system and the thing that I'm driving this week. And maybe we can tease it and we can talk about it later. But even today, I was thinking, what sound system is this? I'm hearing things I haven't heard before in songs that I've listened to for years.
All right, let's put a pin in that because I do want to come back in the next segment and talk about it. But I want to hear some of your lows because it's not all just about wheels and tires. Like what are the things that have disappointed you in the cars you've driven this year?
Okay. I feel a little bit bad about saying this, but I am hard-pressed to find a low, really, because, as you said, many of the cars that we drive are so exceptional, and it really is a challenge to pick out, to really be nitpicky and pick things that you didn't like. But I will say a big miss for me was the key fob on the Cadillac Celestiq. And I know I've spoken about this before, but just as a refresher, this is the car that Cadillac spent years developing. It kind of looks like a very long, if you want to say it's a $300,000 wagon, I won't fight you on it. And this is the car they said that was going to go up against, or is supposed to go up against Rolls-Royce. It's an electric vehicle. It can look cool in some colors and some lights. I don't really have a quibble with the car itself, but because we're being so nitpicky, the key fob that they gave me for that was a plastic square that I couldn't believe it because when I drove the car, I spent 3 hours getting an earful about every minute detail that they developed and tooled and made in-house, and they worked with all of these European designers and all of this special stuff to make the car so signature and so refined and all this stuff. And then they hand me this plastic key fob. And it was such a disconnect for such an important thing because of all of this big car. The one thing that I'm actually touching, holding in my hand, carrying with me, looking at, showing other people to brag is the key fob. So that was really a big miss for me, unfortunately. And I did ask if they're developing anything new to go along with it. And they said they're going to develop an app that can unlock the car, and maybe there will be something else in the future.
But not a new key fob? Because I thought they were going to develop a more premium, higher end.
Right. So I drove the car in April. At the time of my review, they said they were, quote unquote, working on it. Now, in fairness, I should really reach out to them and say, hey, how's that new key fob coming? But at the time, they told me, they will have an app developed that can unlock the car, so you don't have to worry about a key fob at all. And then, potentially later on down the road.
I will say, I don't mind the leather. It's got like a little leather carrying case. And also, you got great hands.
Thanks to my mom for that.
I'm looking back at your story on the Celestiq, and there's a picture of you holding the key fob, with really cool, like poison green nail polish.
Thanks.
And at least they put it in a sleeve, and I think that's what they were like. We have to make this better. And someone said,
what?
I can sew a leather sleeve.
I think the sleeve made it worse because it made it even more bulky, and the stitching on the sleeve remind me of stitching on like a baseball glove. Which, again, is not the look. So as a woman, I'm thinking I might just like slip it into the pocket of like some slim pants or a suit or whatever, and it ruins the line of my jacket or my pants anyway, and the sleeve makes it worse.
Well, I will say that my biggest key problem this year was the Rivian R1S.
Oh yeah,
and they only gave me a little card, like the size of a credit card, which would be fine in your slim line pants.
Slim line pants.
But I couldn't like lock and unlock the car with that, and
It makes
since
me feel
then,
like an idiot.
It made me feel like a total
know.
idiot. And to be fair, since then I've gotten so much email from Rivian, owners and drivers who are like, "Hey, come over here. I'll teach you how to use that." Like there is a way to do it, but I
why
still
do I
thought
have
it was
to be
subpar.
taught how to unlock a car? That's the other thing. It makes me remember that scene in Zoolander when they're like banging on the computer like monkeys and trying to figure out. They're trying to get the files that are in the computer. That is literally how I feel when I'm trying to break into these cars using a credit card that you have to hold a certain way, but it can't be wet, but you can't be. It can't be certain things. And I'm just trying to get in my car.
Yeah.
I need to get to work, man.
Yeah, no, I had that feeling with a lot of aspects of the Rivian where it's like, this thing is awesome, but there's just
what's really bad?
so
the
many
neighbor
unfinished.
the neighbor that I don't like drives a Rivian.
Yeah?
Do you have that in your life where there's somebody that you don't like and the car they drive, it kind of ruins the car that they drive because you're like, oh.
I really like almost everyone.
I know you do.
So
That's such a great thing. And everyone feels it.
There are not many people I don't like, to be
I'm
honest.
more, what do I want to say? Choosy?
Yes.
Discerning?
Yeah.
No, I mean, no, because it is really lovely that you genuinely do like everyone and most people feel that you like them. I'm a little more what's the word?
I think discerning is the right word. By the way, I also, to get back to our initial discussion about things we like and things we don't, there were so many things I loved this year that I didn't think I was going to. So,
me too.
Top of my list is the Aston Martin Vanquish. Now,
yes. Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to be amazing, but I feel like Aston Martin finally got so many things right that people have been complaining about for a while, and that is a supercar. I don't know if it's worth the $600,000 that's priced at, but if you have that kind of money and you're looking for some exclusivity, and everybody in your neighborhood has Ferraris, it makes sense to me. And it was just they nailed it on design, they nailed it on the power.
It's so beautiful. Yes,
everything inside felt. The screens, while I wouldn't have chosen screens myself, they weren't horrible. Everything worked better than expected, including who cares about CarPlay in an Aston Martin Vanquish? You care about the 12-cylinder motor. But it does have the best CarPlay I've ever used. So, that's one of the things that really positively surprised me this year.
I love that. That's a really good point. And they have made so much... They really have improved their interior. I remember back in the day, it really was like objectively not competitive, and now it's really so much better. And we always say like we really want Aston to continue to improve, and it's so beautiful. And there was something. Oh, I was going to ask you. So you're saying that you would get that over a Ferrari, potentially, just to be a little bit different?
Well. To be clear, and now that we know each other so well, you, I'm sure, are aware that I would prefer to have a Ferrari like a 308.
Yes.
But
for new
or a
things.
612.
Yes.
For a new thing, I haven't driven the Ferrari Roma or the Amalfi. Or
I'm going to drive that this weekend.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I'll come back and tell you all about it.
But I love the shapes. I love the design of those, and I'm no longer butthurt about the turbo-ness of Ferrari engines at the low end.
What's the Italian
word for butthurt?
Yeah,
I
need a translation here.
Yeah, I think there is an argument to be made for the Aston Martin over a Ferrari. However, I have very little experience with Ferraris, and I've driven a lot of Aston Martins.
I predict that'll change. That's one of our goals for 2026.
I also want to say, so I was thinking about what I've driven this year, and what surprised me when the Chevy Blazer SS EV showed up in my driveway. I thought, well, here's one I'm not going to drive this week, And when you get a press car that you, from the get-go, you realize you're not going to move it, and they're going to come back a week later and pick up something with 0 miles added. But then I did start to drive it, and I think from the outside it still remains more unimpressive than the Honda Prologue. But the driving experience really impressed me. It felt like an Autobahn cruiser. It's heavy, but it feels like it has like so much power and presence and stability. And it's electric, but it automatically like told me where the fast charging stations are and essentially did it for me. It took 12 minutes to fill the whole thing up. And that's one of the things, like, I tell somebody that like at cocktail parties, and it's a conversation stopper, because on the one hand, they're surprised, and on the other hand, they don't really feel like talking to me about cars anymore because they think I'm just clueless.
That's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. I only say that because I haven't driven it, but I know what it looks like, and so my reaction is the exact same as you, which is like, how can this be good?
It's just super comfy. It's super powerful, and I feel like GM has killed it with EVs. Like I don't know the chemistry of the Ultium platform, but they have so much range. They have so much power. I had such a great time in the, for example, Sierra, GMC Sierra EV. It was so luxurious.
Mary Barra, come talk to us.
Yes.
Because I do think 2020, as 2026 unfolds, we are going to see now all of these choices that automakers have made play out in real time. And we're going to start to see the consequences of some of these choices. For instance, Ford made a very different choice about EVs than General Motors.
Yep.
So it's going to start to play out, which I think will be really interesting. And it would be great to hear from Mary, because I don't think she's going to be at GM forever. And this might be, what she set up to unfold in 2026 and beyond might be her legacy.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, you say you don't think she's going to be at GMC forever because where do you think she's going to go?
She's not going to live I think she'll retire eventually. Once this, I think she's very goal oriented. Admittedly, my exposure to her has been limited, but just following the industry, I think she's very goal oriented. And once the task of basically establishing GM in this new world of EVs is done, or at least in a safe place, that to me would be a natural exit for her, to retire and like spend more time with her family. Exactly. And that would be a really strong legacy to leave.
I wonder if she'll be pulled into government because...
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Because she's been so successful there on so many levels, and she's obviously an incredibly talented leader, and that doesn't just... It doesn't have to be limited just to corporate. Back to cars. What has impressed you this year? Like, what has anything positively surprised you? And I know you're going to...
I'm going to write a column about that, but I also have a column going live on Monday that we can talk about after the break about the brands that did really well this year. And there's one in particular that was a huge standout.
All right, that's all ahead on Hot Pursuit. That's coming up next. That's after this. It's next. Stay with us. Stick with us. We're back in 2. All right, now let's talk about, we teased, Hannah, your column that's coming out on Monday. I'm excited to hear about the brands that you think surprised this year or that will surprise in 2026. What's the story?
Well, this may not be a surprise to some, and we've already touched on it a little bit, but the real shining star of 2026 is Ferrari. And again, I don't think this will be a huge surprise, but to maintain such big profit margins, to have order books full until 2027, to basically just have the average price of its new vehicles 3 and 4 times the average price of everybody else in the luxury segment, just puts every other of its luxury rivals to shame. And yes, it's been a hard year for everyone, including Ferrari. They have readjusted targets, especially with electrification, which I actually think is probably smart. But still, at the end of the day, Ferrari has come out of 2025 looking really good. And I also think that's because they're less exposed in China. Like we know Porsche in particular got really hit in China with the EV thing. Ferrari sells like 10% of its vehicles in China. So it's not really exposed there as much as other luxury brands. So my crown jewel of 2025, and this is not really a surprise to any of our analysts, is Ferrari.
That's interesting. I also had a chance this year to talk to Benedetto Vigna, the CEO of Ferrari, and I sensed a willingness, though he wasn't spilling the beans, I sensed a willingness in him to go back to a manual transmission, to 3 pedals.
You sensed it.
Yes.
You got this vibe.
He was implying that they, that they can do that in their sort of top end, like one-off models. Mm-hmm. And we've seen other companies, Aston Martin, for example, do that for their, $1 million hypercars. But it seemed also, he was asking me, what I would do.
Amazing.
And, I want the take rate to be high. So I think you have to plan it. You have to be strategic about it. But I think there's a lot more room for manual transmissions in these really expensive cars, right? I'll never forget what the Bentley CEO told us a couple of weeks ago.
Frank Walliser.
Yes. Frank Stefan Walliser, about the take rate for the GT3, for the manual transmission in the GT3. Because they had been selling, base Carreras or maybe GTSs where the take rate on the manual was only 20% or less. Mm-hmm. The engineers bet him that it wouldn't beat that for the GT3. And he was like, it'll definitely be better than 20. And it turned out to be 70%. And
eat that.
Yeah, the lesson is, though, as you climb up the price scale, you weed out people who are like daily drivers or, like us. And you get these like real enthusiasts with money to back it up. And of course, they're going to pick a manual transmission because this is a car that's going to go in their museum-like gargantuan garage and maybe be driven 2 or 3 times a year. Why would they want a PDK? They're not tracking it. Or at least that's how I read it. So yeah, Ferrari has just crushed it. And it was weird to see the stock crater this year after the Capital.
It hasn't been like a perfect year for them, admittedly.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been for anybody.
I thought you were going to talk about Audi because,
Audi's one of my ones to watch.
Okay,
actually,
yeah, exactly.
For 2026.
Because
that is in the story, but it's a one to watch.
Yeah, because it just seems like Audi is starting to, I think they've not done poorly. I've never driven an Audi where I thought this is lame.
Yeah, no, of course. But sometimes I've driven them and thought, I wish there was a little bit more. Yeah. I wish there was something grabbing my stomach a little bit more.
A little bit more Audi and less Volkswagen.
Yes.
And it looks like
they have it in them too. Yeah. I was just going to say, like, this company has been around racing success for 100 years. Let's not forget Tom Christensen winning in Audis, at Le Mans. The heritage is there. Of course, we saw the concept C that they debuted in September in Milan. That is, I think it looked cool. I think it's a good indicator of where they're going to go. And let's not forget, they're joining Formula One in the spring, which is going to be a huge shot of adrenaline for them, both just from a technology, but also marketing standpoint, a glamour standpoint. I think you're totally right about that, Matt. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do.
I can't wait to watch Formula One pretty soon.
I know. Who are you watching? Cadillac? Are you watching Audi? Who are you going to be curious about?
Audi, Cadillac. The competition is just getting so much more intense in terms of brands that touch me personally on a regular basis.
Yes.
So
yes,
I just want to see how it all works out, and I hope somehow Liberty Media figures out a way to inject more excitement into this. I mean, this season turned out to be pretty exciting at the end, but
oh my gosh,
the individual races need to have more passing, and I don't know how they do that. But what are the other takeaways from your story? If you can,
let's talk about one company that really struggled, and again, this is not going to be a surprise, but we should talk about it, which is Porsche.
Yeah.
And, I would say to be kicked off of Germany's stock index, their blue chip index, is a huge loss of face for them, and that is an indicator of everything else that has been going on for Porsche. And obviously, Porsche looks to me the worst because it was at the heights. It was so hyped up.
It was the most profitable automaker in the world.
Yes. And when it was kicked off of this German stock index, the shares had fallen over 30% from the previous year. It has said that it will barely even make a profit in 2025. So that's unbelievable, only because Porsche has been so dominant, and because the 911 is still, I think, the pinnacle sports car for the money. I still think it is by far the Swiss Army knife. If you have, you can't beat it.
Agreed.
In terms of the value and everything it gives and how it drives. It's very, very, very close to perfect. So it's just wild to see this incredible product that we all know and drive often, and then see the company struggle. Also, let's not forget their CEO, Oliver Blume, was doing a double duty role at VW and Porsche for a long time. Yeah, and I think that was her strain. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, for one thing, we have a fantastic story on Bloomberg.com and on the Bloomberg terminal about the Porsche Piesch family and how they have kind of borrowed themselves into a corner to some extent. But this is a clan that is, while they're storied for everything we love, they also have made just really bad business decisions over the last 25 years, right? A failed attempt at Porsche taking over Volkswagen resulted in Volkswagen swallowing up Porsche. And, when the family was ousting Ferdinand Piesch, who made
the cousin
Volkswagen everything we love. I mean, this is the hero that bought and brought back Bugatti. This is the guy who got himself Ducati for his birthday. He built this incredible stable.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. And
not.
And enforcing him out had to take massive loans to buy his $1.3 billion stake, and now they're having to decide whether or not they pay dividends over what's right for the operational business, or at least that's something the analysts are questioning. So this all led me to wonder whether things like the lack of a handbrake, which went away in the 997, or things like the lack of real gauges, which went away in the 992, things like electronic steering instead of hydraulic, are these technological advancements, or are they cost-cutting mechanisms?
I think the answer is yes.
Well, I'm starting to think it's amazing at a car that starts at $150,000 before options, but I'm starting to think they just can't afford to put real gauges in, because nobody would prefer screens, right? On a 911, you want the beautiful gauges for which the car was famous and that they're trying to digitally imitate. Why not give us the real thing? I don't want a fake version of that,
I think it's possible that the powers that be at Porsche misjudged the consumer a little bit and thought they wouldn't be bothered by all of those they're all very small, minor changes, but they do add up to a bigger thing, I think. Yeah. And maybe there was a little bit of a misjudge of the depth of devotion on some of the buyers to that analog feel.
Well, let's hope some of it comes back, because it's safe to say it's the brand that we talk about more than any other.
You think?
Yes. Yeah. I think car enthusiasts in general probably talk about the 911 more than any model, including the Miata.
I have to disagree. I think people in Ferrari circles or Lamborghini circles or Pagani circles would say, well, we talk about our favorite cars.
For sure, but I'm just saying, if you put all car enthusiasts together, right? If you stack up Road and Track and Car and Driver for the past 50 years, I think you're going to see 911 as the most mentioned.
Well,
it's probably, I can dig through the data. I can use AI to figure that out.
Yeah, please use your Chat GPT. If that's the case, then that is still another testament to how good that car is and how shocking it is that Porsche has fallen.
By the way, can I just say, to go back to what we were talking about previously, one of the big surprises for me this year also was the Taycan, which you'd already driven, I think, in previous years.
Yes.
And I had not. It blew me away in a really positive sense. And now when I drive by them on the street, I'm looking, and I may start to pull them up in Car Gurus or Auto Trader just to shop to see if they've had some depreciation, because
that'll fit a baby seat in the back.
So
right?
fast.
Yeah.
But again, it's not going to come with 3 pedals, and it's all like Casio screens instead of.
No, but I'm actually okay with that. I think it's the right tool for the job. It's all about, you can have different tools in your tool belt, right?
Yes, for sure. I just wish I could have a lot of different tools.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And I just didn't buy Bitcoin early enough,
What's that thing that Barry always says? Like, you should have, the money that you spent on an Apple computer back in the day, you should have invested with Apple.
Yes, exactly. Instead of buying an iPhone, you should have put
so
$1,000 into the stock.
Yes.
Which is for the most part true. But then he would have said the same thing about Porsche, but I'm glad I didn't buy those shares.
Well, the story's not over yet. A true champion finds a way to come back.
That's right.
And I think we would all be happy if Porsche really showed its champion stripes here. So time will tell.
All right. Well, we teased that you love the stereo in the vehicle that you're currently driving. So when we come back, we will tell everyone what you're driving right now and who makes the stereo.
Burmeister.
This is Hot Pursuit. All right, I'm just looking at. I think it's Burmeister, but
is that if you're living in Germany?
I don't know. Actually.
Or Burmeister.
Burmeister, whatever. It's something that.
Oh, Burmeister. Maybe it's Burmeister.
From hearing you say that, that's who makes the stereo. I can surmise that you are either talking about a Porsche, which, by the way, if you ever have to check between that box and Bose, please check Burmeister, or Mercedes, which uses these stereos a lot. So which is it?
Ding, ding, Stuttgart. It's Mercedes. Yet another Mercedes, and this is basically kind of the 4-door version of the car I had last week. This is the Mercedes-AMG S63E Performance. It's the 4-door version. Suggested retail price, $186,000. This is like a big car. If you want a big Mercedes that's got a big engine, it's got a V8, 791 horsepower. This is the one for you.
So, but
it's a serious thing.
Say those numbers again. The horsepower and torque. What is it?
4-liter V8 bi-turbo, 791 horsepower, over 1,000 pound-feet of torque, 1,054 pound-feet of torque.
So it's the 4-door version of the GT63.
Yes, and it actually has the same amount of torque as that 2-door AMG GT.
Little lighter on horsepower, but near enough.
Yeah, slightly, but who can tell the difference?
No, who cares?
Completely. It's a serious thing.
So hybrid powertrain, right?
Yep, hybrid. All of those figures I just gave are combined figures. 9-speed transmission. This one doesn't come with a stick, Matt.
No, none of them.
I hate the color.
What's the color of the? Why is the press color always so bad? What's the color?
I think because whoever specs the press cars wants to just try something crazy and wild because it doesn't really matter because it's not their car. So they just try. This is like a baby blue.
Oh, I love baby. Like a robin's egg blue? Like a Tiffany blue?
It's certainly not as classy as a Tiffany blue. It's more like it's almost a matte baby blue.
That's not okay. Yeah.
It's not okay.
Matte colors in general should be done by now. And
I agree.
Baby blue, like the new or newish BMW M2. I love that blue, but it's a shiny.
Oh, yeah. No, this is, and actually I'm looking at the paperwork for the car. They don't have the color listed. They're saying it's
doesn't
black.
say the color?
No, I think this is incorrect because it's calling it black and it's certainly not black.
Maybe it's a wrap.
Ooh, that's an interesting proposition. I will say, though, the sound system, it's the Burmeister 4D surround sound costs $6,800 extra. It's so good.
Worth it.
So good. So worth it. When you're listening to Cardi B on your way to work, you will hear the back of her throat like you've never heard before. I highly recommend it.
Away from cars for a moment, I'll say that
please.
Cardi B may be the cultural phenomenon that also surprised me most to the upside this year.
Why?
I'd never heard...
Was it her legal travails?
No.
Her time in court?
Nope.
Because she's a real genius.
No, I've never heard anything from her, like music-wise or even statements. I paid zero attention. Once you said
Matt,
Cardi B, I stopped paying attention.
You're missing out.
And so I cared very little. But I was at a concert in Central Park.
I knew there was a but coming.
Yeah. And they were like, Cardi B's going to play. And I was like, this will be interesting. I'm going to probably leave early. And I don't think that I've seen someone this year who is more herself than Cardi B. She is a genuine version of herself. And in a way that you can tell. Like,
I know.
And I admire and respect her for it.
Same exactly.
Authentic.
She is so authentic. There's no apparent distance between what is going on in her head and what she says and how she presents herself to the world. And I find that in a world where everyone wears a mask, I find that so cool. And it's actually really smart, and it takes a lot of discipline to truly be yourself.
I wonder if that's just the way she is. I don't see her as a disciplined person, although she's so successful that
you should hear her on social media talking about like not being lazy and working hard every day. She gives these like pep talks. It's kind of amazing.
Well, she blew me away, and I was thinking last night. I was thinking about character, what it means to have character, or does it mean you're being a character, you're acting a character, you're playing a character. And obviously, all of us are to some extent.
Yes.
And Cardi B seems like she isn't. She really is that person. I don't know why did we get to this? Oh, so you're listening to Cardi B on the Burmester stereo.
Yes.
It's a $7,000 option, and you're saying tick that box.
Tick the box. It really, I'm telling you, it's one of those things where you're listening to songs and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that part was in it. I had never realize it. And I think also, and I need to go back and check, but I also think Dolby Atmos is playing a role here because this car has it. And I am a fan after getting a very extensive run through of all of the technology that goes into remastering songs so that they can be played on that platform. It really does make a difference. So anyway, love the sound system and love the seats too. Very, very comfortable seats. And when you have a huge town car like this, you kind of want to feel like you're in a cushy environment. So
that's good news. I have grown so frustrated with car stereos and how bad they are that I have, to some extent, I've greatly reduced the amount of music that I listen to in cars. So I listen to Bloomberg radio a lot, but I also listen to BBC and NPR and podcasts.
No podcasts? You do listen to podcasts?
I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
Mostly car podcasts, believe it or not. And because I'm just so disappointed with what car stereos can give us. There are exceptions, but
I do think it's overlooked.
I'm excited when they've gotten it right, because then I don't have to turn around and spend $10,000 to get it right myself.
Me too.
It's cool that you like this car and the car stereo.
Don't love how it looks. I mean, it's not for me. It's kind of like a mobster car in a way. It's just big.
Well, I wouldn't want I've never liked. So when they had the AMG GT, which came out in 2016, and I always talk about how much I love that shape, and then they came out with the 4-door version of it. I thought, this is totally wrong. It looks silly. It doesn't work. But now the new version of the AMG GT, which we've spoken about a lot recently, that I would say is probably my favorite car of the year that I've driven. Obviously, there are different cars for different, as you say, purposes. And so this is not a pickup truck, but immense power, such an elegant package, and like an understated luxury. It's just at the price tag where I get tripped up.
The price tag, also fuel economy, almost 50 miles per gallon in combined city and highway driving.
Depending on who's driving.
Depending on who's driving, yes. The results may vary because of that hybrid powertrain. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I like that or not. When I think about this car, so I mean, the best cars I've driven this year, this is one of them, the Vanquish and the RS6. I'm not sure if I like the complexity in this car especially, but also the RS6 and the hybrid thing. Like I'm a huge fan of it. Of the Corvettes, I really like the E-Ray because it has the electric motor pulling on the front wheels. But I would prefer fewer parts that can break in any car.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
But man, this thing, I love to go on the Mercedes-Benz configurator.
They have a good one.
Build my own because they have like 100 colors from which you can choose.
Back to the color thing. Colors are important. Yes.
But it's over $200,000 before I add a single option. So.
Yeah, it's so fast though. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds for a big heavy car like this is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know how powerful this vehicle is. Like even people who are read in to the automotive world,
it's a serious
hard pressed to name a car under name a sports car under $400,000 that has more than 1,000 pound-feet of torque. A lot of people would not be able to.
Well, that's like twice what most 911s have.
Yeah, 911s are always pretty weak on torque, aren't they? Except for the turbos. Yeah. Well, I guess they're all turbos now. Back to the 911, Hannah.
Whoops.
All right, so what are your plans? We're getting closer and closer to, I think Hanukkah's starting. Christmas is coming up. What are your holiday plans?
You know what? Well, I'm going to go to Portugal this weekend and drive that Ferrari real quick. And then I'm really looking forward to being here at home in LA. We, as you know, Magnus and I are working on a book. Our deadline for that is quickly approaching. So I will be crashing some chapters of that.
Hey, what's the book about?
The book is a coffee table book, 20 chapters, 20 Porsches. Nice. Actually, with lots of pictures for anyone who doesn't want to read. There are lots of great photos too. And that should be coming out probably in early 2027. But I'm also going to go visit. We are going to go visit our friend Shmuley, who is currently on a ranch basically near Paso Robles, which is a really nice like wine area, sort of on the way to Carmel, over before New Year in the days between Christmas and New Year's. So
you're so lucky that you live out there. You
got to come out, Matt.
You have
so many friends.
I'm 100% going to come out.
You have so many friends and fans.
Well, I just want to hang out with you, with you guys, and obviously my brother-in-law, Luis.
Oh yeah, hi, Luis.
But it's like you can go. It's like living in Europe, California.
Kind of.
You can just jet off for the weekend to a new amazing place that everyone else wants to see. And meanwhile, here I can choose between like Connecticut and New Jersey.
Where will you be for Christmas?
No, I'll be at my place in Westchester, and I love Westchester. But driving gets a little bit dicey. It's always a little dicey on these roads in the winter, and I'm just going to be probably at home scrolling through Bring a Trailer. I mark basically every like non-new 911, but I'm really narrowed it down to like a 997. I like the look of the 0.1 better because it's before LEDs, and I like the wheels better on that, and probably the sound better without the direct injection, but I like the reliability of the 997.2. Plus, I always bookmark any of these older Ferraris. There's a 308. Yeah, I don't know if I would fit in one, but it doesn't need engine out service, and they're not $1 million. But yeah, I'm going to have like 17 people at my house again for Christmas. The whole family.
This is relatives coming in? Oh man,
yeah,
that's a lot.
So
that'll be fun. Is your tree up?
The tree's up, man. We got that at Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Got to draw it out.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, it's been
Cool.
great. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to
No.
be back here, same time, same place next week, right?
Yes, we will.
Ryan, are we doing a new episode every week still? Yes. I think that's a yes.
That does it for this week's show. Remember to follow and subscribe to Hot Pursuit on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen. You can also send us your comments. Email us at hotpursuit@bloomberg.net.
Yes. And by the way, a dude who listens to the show just bought a Testarossa the other day.
Oh, no way.
And he,
Wow,
on Bring a
congrats.
Trailer, he was like, I think I've made a horrible mistake.
Horribly wonderful.
Definitely tell us what you're shopping for and tell us if you pull the trigger or want to. I'm always good for a convo on email. Check out Hannah's columns and stories on Bloomberg.com and the Bloomberg Business app. Go there for car reviews, events, and stories that you won't find anywhere else. Find it all at Bloomberg.com/pursuits/autos. I'm Matt Miller.
And I'm Hannah Elliott. We'll be back in your podcast feed again next week.